Right. Theresa May. Well, all you MPs who are condemning the vile abuse of Theresa May, I hope that you will stop for a moment and remember the horrific murder of Joe Cox. And let's face it, if this evil coalition cabal, criminal cabal that calls itself a coalition government, presently dominating Parliament, if they had not decided to scrap human rights and thereafter have to get us out of the EU, because there was no way they could scrap human rights while we were in the EU. So any Tory MP who claims, oh, I supported Remain, you're a liar, okay? You liars. Because there's no way that any political party that wants to scrap human rights wanted to stay in the EU. Because the EU, no matter what anybody has to say about it, fundamental to every EU legislation are human rights. Okay? So if you said you wanted to remain, Theresa May, you're a liar. You wanted to leave. We know you were playing devil's advocate. I know your political strategy. You won't get nothing past me. Okay? And you are going to jail. That's where you belong. In prison. Okay? You belong in prison. Because this is what your government has done to Britain. Okay? You're criminalising the poor. The people that your austerity, who are actually still alive, but they're homeless, they're jobless, they've got no benefits, they're forced to literally beg on the streets, and now they're being arrested and fined even, criminalised, imprisoned. Criminal convictions for begging, persistent and aggressive begging, loitering. What, persistent and aggressive begging? What, is that from somebody who's actually starving? Cases include a man jailed for 4 months for breaching a criminal behaviour order in Gloucester for begging, about which the judge admitted, I will be sending a man to prison for asking for food when he was hungry. And a man fined £105 after a child dropped £2 in his sleeping bag. And we've got 50 local authorities and rising that are bringing these PSPOs into place. Okay, well, you tell me what kind of a humane government, a lawful government, could actually allow for this when, you know, you've not scrapped our human rights yet, and this person sleeping on the street has a right to shelter and food and dignity. So you've already scrapped our human rights, haven't you? You've been ignoring British people's human rights from the very first moment David Cameron got his filthy arse into office. And he's another one that needs locking up, okay? Because we know what you've been up to, David Cameron, Gordon Bowden, and has exposed all your financial crimes. Okay? And you're not going to get away with it. Gordon Bowden, RAF man. Somebody who has served this country. You, what are you? David Cameron. Jail for you. I'm going to leave the link, people, about what he's been up to. Have a listen to Gordon Bowden. Okay? Forget Tommy Robinson, that even the BBC Newsnight has to, you know, bring on board, don't they? They would not interview Gordon Bowden. Gordon Bowden went to the BBC offices and they told him to go away. You're talking about a man, years and years of research. He's got the evidence, he's got the goods on this. Evil, criminal, a thief, a fraudster. And inflicting economic terrorism on the British people. That is what he has done. That is what you are doing, Theresa May. Because that is economic terrorism, okay? Economic terrorism that has killed 120,000 deaths. It's not economic murder, it's terrorism. Because, you know, oh, you couldn't go around just shooting people in the head, could you? Oh, no, no, no. That isn't, you know, that would be uncivilised, wouldn't it? Instead, you know, drive them to despair through months and months, perhaps years of grinding poverty. Make them homeless. They've got no dignity. They've got nothing to live for. Drive them to such despair and depression that they commit suicide. Or they get really, really ill. Or they go to a hospital to try and get some treatment and they can't get anything because they become really, really ill because they're so depressed. Stress worsens people who already have an illness, who you, Theresa May, have been harassing, haven't you? That's the first thing you did, isn't it? Shake down all the people in the wheelchairs. Oh, they were fraudulent claims. And how many claims were found to be fraudulent? 0.05%. And we get all these headlines in the Sun about, oh, he was living on benefits and getting £50,000 a year, and go away with your absolute nonsense. That was what? 1 in a blooming 20,000. I have yet to meet one person who's had thousands and thousands of pounds out of the UK benefit system. And then, you know, we've got this, haven't we? New Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab wanted UK to negotiate with EU to scrap workers' rights. Really? Is that going to be part of your Brexit deal? Scrapping workers' rights? Because, you know, even on 0-hour contracts, because apparently, you know, they need to slash these vital protections because it's an obstacle to British business. Okay? This opportunity should be seized and used to remove some of the obstacles to British business. Now, this is after you, David Cameron, had already turned Britain into a corporate state, isn't it? From 2013. That's when this is, 2013. Inviting the global corporations into Britain. Oh, here you go, have our post offices, yeah, have all the buildings, sell them all off, do what you like with them. They only belong to the public, but, you know, they're just cattle. So, you know, we'll get them all het up about Muslims and immigrants and stuff like that. Oh, benefits claimants. Okay, get them all het up. Go and shoot a member of a London community and start a riot, and then we'll go really heavy on the benefit culture. Show people exactly what they're dealing with. The enemy within. These benefit claimants. Look at them. They're crazy. Yeah. We need to end these benefits. Yeah. And then in you come. I tell you, you'll never get past me, Theresa May. You think that you're oh so clever, but no. No, you're not clever at all. You're just very, very smart, aren't you? I'm the one who's clever, okay? Because I've survived what you couldn't even fucking imagine. Because you don't live in any reality. You live in a cloud, in a dream, in a fiction, in a fantasy. Well, you're going to be sharply woken up out of that fantasy, arrested and charged for treason, and I'm going to explain here exactly why. Okay? Oh, not just because of this, murdering British people, denying them their human rights. Okay? You know, this, animals can't feel pain. Really? Can't they? So does that mean that that's okay, you can go and beat your dog, you can do what you like to animals, can't feel any pain? Obviously you think we're animals, don't you? We the people, the stock. We can't feel pain either, can we? We don't feel any pain whatsoever having to witness this, do we? And know that our country is directly participated in this. That you are responsible. You have sold weapons to Saudi Arabia, military equipment, and you have the audacity to quote that sex offender, vile president of the United States and say, well, if we didn't sell them to them, somebody else would have done. Well, do you know what? Maybe drug dealers ought to start using that argument in court as part of their defence. Well, you know what? I had no money, so I started selling people heroin. Because, you know, if I hadn't have sold it to them, somebody else would have sold it to them. You evil bitch. You think that you're going to get away with this. You think that the British people have hearts of stone. Well, the British people have spoken, and you know when the 700,000 people managed to get to London to express their opinion about your evil plans for Britain through Brexit? Yeah, well, do you know what? That equates to what? 40, 50, 60 million people who are not happy. And screw Cambridge Analytica, because people were lied to. People were told outright lies about something as important as leaving the EU. So we've got hundreds of homeless. Another crime, what you've done to the NHS. People have a right to health care. The people of this country built the NHS. We built the buildings, my grandparents. It was all established. What are you doing? Selling it off to global corporations, aren't you? Tony Blair set the trusts up, and now it's quite easy, isn't it? So it's already neatly packaged in these trusts. Trusts that actually have been doing nothing but vamping off the NHS and secretly privatising it all anyway. The cleaners are privatised, this is privatised, that's privatised. They've all invested in these little global private corporations that are setting up cleaners that don't even clean the hospitals, and people have died directly as a result. So, you know, we've got that. And then what have we got to look forward to when we finally get out of Brexit? Oh yeah, massive rises in food prices, food shortages, cheese rising by 44% overnight. But it's not just that. It's not just that. That's not just your treason. That's not just your crime. Okay? Because you've set this up, haven't you? Here we go. UK immigration solicitors. There is nothing UK about them. As they explain very clearly here, they are a national and global company ourselves. So you've invited a global corporate solicitors, legal professionals, to set up in Britain, and what is their sole purpose? Immigration solicitors for your sponsor licence. So, you know, all this Brexit fear-mongering about hordes of immigrants coming in. Well, no, the hordes of immigrants are going to coming in, aren't they? Because any global corporation that's set up in Britain, that's brought our trains or our NHS or our post offices or whatever it is they've bought up, well, they don't need to employ British people, do they? No, they can bring anybody in. Holding a sponsor licence and providing an opportunity for someone to come to the UK to work for you is a really good way to expand your business. And sometimes that means recruiting from far afield. Okay? This is your treason. This is your treason. And this is why criminal charges are going to be brought against you, as well as for your war crimes. Okay? Your war crimes, not just by facilitating this, but your crimes, the crimes that this government has committed over the years, including the ongoing situation in Iraq, and actually your government has been involved in Libya and Afghanistan as well, and Syria. But no, look at this. This is what you have invited in, isn't it? Your evil coalition government, DynCorp, a corporate global military organisation. They train there right now, these global corporate militaries are right now, their soldiers are being trained in places like Yemen. They're being trained in places like Afghanistan and Libya. You've set them up in Britain. They are for hire, a whole military hardware. They're for hire. to you, to anybody really. Any corporation, any big corporation can hire DynCorp for security, for intelligence, for social engineering, or for military actions. Okay? So they're in Britain, and with your lovely little sponsor licence here, well, these, DynCorp and all other global corporations, they can bring in military from abroad. They can bring in an army from any country, from anywhere in the world. They can bring in an army into our country and turn their guns on the British people. That, Theresa May, is treason, and that's why you are going to jail. Okay? Because you have put the whole of the British public at risk. Did you think that we were that stupid? Did you think really you were going to get away with it? No, you are gone. And forget all this stuff. Oh, don't be nasty to Theresa May. She is one evil cow, and she has been very, very nasty to the British people. How dare any MP complain that Theresa May is experiencing vile verbal abuse? And especially after Jo Cox was literally stabbed in the heart. A woman who stood up for the British people, who knew her community. One of the very few humane and decent MPs in Parliament. And after this, what we have had to suffer and witness? They want to take away our rights, our human rights, our workers' rights. They're claiming animals don't feel pain. They've destroyed our NHS. They've sold off all our railways, post offices, you bloody name it. They're giving them subsidies. We're fucking paying these people to earn a profit off us. And provide a substandard service in the process. Cut. Because those services don't exist for us, do they? No, we're there to pump money into the service, aren't we? They're vampires, absolute vampires. And this, like I say, people, please be aware, this is treason. This is legislation for treason when they've got military and G4S, global corporations. G4S, what? A subsidiary of Mossad. This, DynCorp, who else have they got in? Who can bring armies in from abroad? That is treason, okay? So you, Theresa May, I am very sorry if you don't like vile abuse. You should not have given such vile, evil abuse against the British people. How dare you? And you think you're going to get away with it? No, you are going to be arrested. Wake up, people. Seriously. You know what I'm sharing here? This is a threat. This is an existential threat. When you look at all the other shit they've done that I've just shared, and I'll leave you every link below. Okay? But you check this out, because I tell you now, that is a threat when you've got this working for the kind of people who'll sponsor this, who'll profit off this. Okay? You're talking about savages. Savages. That's what you are, Theresa May. A heartless savage. And you are going down, the lot of you.